My name is Victoria, and I'm from Vegas. And I just wanted to say that I'm a huge fan of your show, and you guys are part of what makes the show really great. And I recently got my husband to start watching the show as well. And my question is for Jared and Jensen. You guys are both happily married, and I noticed that many people have a hard time explaining how they know their significant other is the one they're going to spend the rest of their life with, the one that they want to be with. And so I wanted to ask you guys, how did you know that your current, who you're with now, was the one that
Jared, Jensen, when did you first meet your future ex-wives? I'm just kidding. I get what you're trying to say, thank you. I guess my current wife,
let's start with her.
let's start. You said something kind of amazing in your question, which is that a lot of people have a tough time or a difficult time explaining to their significant others or to themselves what it is. And I guess I feel that I have no way to possibly explain it to myself or to her. I remember that I had been in a relationship and then I was single and I was like, I'm not interested in getting in a relationship. And then she and I went on a date and I was like, I can't go anywhere else. I'm not interested. So that's kind of what started it for me. Yeah, I just feel like she makes me a better person. There are a lot of people that make you a better person, and so that's not enough, I don't think, or maybe it is, who knows. I don't know, I can't really, if I could explain, I'd be a poet, and I would love to be a poet, but she just makes me...
Just tap me when you want me to take over.
Just, it's really difficult, she makes me feel safe, she makes me feel loved. When I'm in a position where I don't love myself, I know she loves me, you know. She's just an awesome, awesome lady.
I kind of feel like there's two types of people in regards to marriage and finding that one. It's the ones that just know with an absolute and have a certainty of like, this is the one for me, unequivocally. And then there's those who are, you know, I don't know, I'm scared, but I'm willing to take that leap of faith with you. And I kind of found myself somewhere in between both of those. And so it can be a scary endeavor, and it will certainly have its ups and downs. But I think it's a bond, and it's a connection, and it's a friendship, and it's a ride, and it's a journey that if you're willing to stick it out with one another, can be an amazing, beautiful thing. And I'm glad that I picked the partner and the teammate that I have. So, yeah.
Thanks for being here. That's fun to watch.
Thank you.
You got it.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Melissa and I'm from Phoenix.
Hi, Melissa from Phoenix.
First, I want to say that a tied up in bloody sand is totally my favorite. Because it guarantees you an absolutely furious, sexy decapitation from Dean. My question is...
I like tied up bloody Sam because that's the Sam that's gonna die. Through decapitation.
So my question is, you guys do an amazing job, I think, of showing in an industry that has so much smut and cheating and crap on every magazine cover, just showing a beautiful family life and commitment to your marriage.
By not being on the magazine cover?
By not being on crappy magazines, yes. But I think with the schedules that you guys have, that's got to be difficult. So what is that one thing that you know you commit to make that happen, to keep your marriage together?
He and I both actually in our relationships have a 2-week rule, where we don't go more than 2 weeks without seeing our family. sometimes it's difficult because we'll film all week and they'll be in Austin or whatever the situation is. And they're doing their thing, we're doing our thing. And we make it a point to either get our family to us or get to our family, because after 2 weeks you start to kind of like forget what they feel like and what they smell like and have that kind of eye-to-eye connection.
It's just too long.
It's a long time. And people can do it. Obviously, you know, we have our amazing soldiers who keep us safe. And they are stronger than I am. I need that kind of reassurance with my wife and kids more often. So if you're military spouse out there, thank you, and you're awesome. That's what kind of is off the top of my mind, is trying to see them as much as possible.
Yeah, and it's, you know, you kind of alluded to other parts of the industry and people, and what kind of gets glorified in the media sometimes is doesn't paint the best picture of personal lives outside of the industry. You know, you have to remember that Jared and I started 11 years ago and got shipped up to Canada to shoot this show that has lasted this long. And so he and I have really been out of that scene, if you want to call it that. And because of kind of the success that the show has had on the level that it's had, it's kind of kept us like just off the radar of a lot of the major news people. Honestly, I remember, I don't think we talked about this, I remember reading an article Matt Damon gave maybe a year or two ago, and he said, you know, every year the press show up and they follow me, walking my kid to school and back, and it's the same thing. It's like, yep, still boring. And if you don't give people anything to report, then they're going to kind of leave you alone. And I think Jared and I, you know, we're not scandalous people, and we're not trying to destroy our lives or lives of others, or do things that you know get those tabloids. And so I think we kind of find comfort in being boring. We'd rather be exciting on screen and boring in real life.
I love boring.
Yeah, and so you know, I think it's awesome because it allows us to have a real relationship with our wives and our children and our family and our friends and you guys, and it's real. We don't have to pretend to be some persona in the public eye and keep that up. We can just be ourselves, and I think that's really important in his and I's relationship between each other, with our crew, with our family, with our friends, and I think the fact that he and I have been able to kind of keep each other accountable in that regard has helped all of those relationships flourish. So.
Holy Chuck, you guys are awesome, and I just want to thank you for...
Holy Chuck.
You can't swear when your little kids are watching Supernatural with you, so you gotta find some way around that.
I agree.
So thank you for the You Are Not Alone and Always Keep Fighting campaigns. My question is, the convention that they show in Supernatural greatly varies from the conventions here. How do you think Sam and Dean would feel instead of like on the French Mistake, instead of landing on the set, if they landed at like VegasCon instead?
I smell an episode. You know what? I don't think they'd want to go back.
That's true. I would love here. I think they'd stick around here with you guys.
You'd be like, wait a minute, I can get up and play with these guys? Oh, I'm staying. Sam, you can go back. I'm staying here. It's gonna rock. Yeah, that would be an interesting scenario because this is certainly different than what was portrayed on the show. Hey, again, smell an episode.
Season 12. Thank you for the shocking, awesome question.
Hi there.
Hi, pretty cool. So this. Wow, I've been 11 years a fan, and to be here at your convention after watching your show for so long is really cool. So if you guys could act or direct in any film or TV show, what would it be and why?
Marvel. Oh, Marvel. We're not named Chris. If we named Chris to be in a Marvel or DC movie.
I'll geek out a little bit. I wouldn't mind going on Game of Thrones. And selfishly, because I'd love to work with David Nutter again. I know he directs a lot of those. But it's also like one of the only shows I kind of keep up with. So, if you put me anywhere else, I'd be like, who are these people? What am I doing here? Yeah.
I'd love to be in Star Wars. I wanted to be in Harry Potter. That ship has sailed. Did y'all all see the new Star Wars movie? When Rey is tied up and there's that stormtrooper and she's like, you will open the door, and he's like, I'm not gonna open the door. Do y'all all know who that is? Yeah, for those who don't know, it's Daniel Craig. He's a big Star Wars fan, and so he was like, can I be in the new movie? I'll put a mask on. And so he's actually just a stormtrooper who has like 3 lines. And I was like, that's cool, like that's exactly what I would want to do. So, granted I'm not James Bond, but
I'll be.
Jensen, you would make an awesome James Bond.
thank you for the question. Thanks for watching 11 years. Super cool. He wants to do James Bond, but he wants to do Game of Thrones because he gets to be naked.
That's Spartacus, dude.
Spartacus.
I made the same mistake. I was like, I'm not watching that dumb show. It's a bunch of naked people running around. That's Spartacus. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so once again, I'd like to thank you guys for bringing awareness to depression and anxiety. It actually helped me talk to my parents about it a little bit more and helped me feel a little bit more comfortable with it, so thank you very much for all of that. But my question is, there's been a lot of talk of your guys' family today, and yesterday Misha told a couple stories about Mason and Les, and I was wondering if you guys had any recent stories about you and your parents.
Yeah.
We just went to a Renaissance fair in Austin last weekend. And at first, JJ was kind of resistant of the very colorful characters that are there. And after I was challenged to hit a guy in the face with a tomato. So I'll paint the scene real quick. We were walking by, and there was literally a tomato throwing booth, kind of like a dump tank. You guys know what those are? Except it was just a guy with his head through a giant cardboard wall and just shouting out insults and he was yelling at people walking by. And the thing was that you would pay a couple bucks and you'd get like a half a dozen tomatoes and you could chuck at this guy and try to hit him in the face. And it was a pretty good throw. I mean, I'd say it was maybe 30 to 40 feet away. And so the young lady who was taking the money and giving the tomatoes happened to be a big fan of the show. And so, needless to say, she just said, you can throw as many as you want. And so JJ was busy. She had like a fairy who was talking to her, and so she finally asked Danielle to put her princess dress on. So now she was in her princess dress and she was starting to kind of come around to the whole idea. And then they walk up and look at Danielle and I'm like, so apparently I get to throw tomatoes at this guy's face. And he's yelling. He's like, I don't care what show you're on. You probably still have the stink of LA in your face. You probably have the stink of rejection from all the shows you couldn't get. Oh yeah, no, he wasn't holding back. He was awesome.
And Jensen's like, how does he know?
And so JJ's like, what's happening, Daddy? And I'm like, Daddy's gonna try to hit this man in the face with a tomato. And so I fired one, and it hit the car, because it was a huge, it was like the size of a stage, and if the guy was like back here, like this, I'm maybe, you're talking maybe 4 or 5 rows deep was where I was standing. This big of a target. And it took me 5, and the 5th one, I hit him so hard. I'm not kidding. Because with each one, I was like zeroing in on him. And apparently the girl was like, he hasn't been hit all day, so he's really, and I'm like, well, how often does he get hit? She's like, a couple times a weekend. I'm like, that's it? I'm like, oh. Challenge accepted. So, I played baseball, I have a decent arm. I was rifling these things in there. As hard as I could possibly throw this thing. And one hit, boom, and he started mouthing off, and he looked down, and right as I didn't even waste time. I just went, whoa! And it hit him and like split his eye, and it knocked him out of the hole. I was even more proud when I turned to JJ and she was like, yeah, Daddy! And the guy he had to walk it off. He came all the way out from behind like the barricade and came out to shake my hand. He's like, it's the hardest I've been hit in a long time. So setting very good examples for my child. That's one thing that's happened.
Respectfully, I can't beat that.
I'll have to bring you next time and we can just like...
We were taking a house. I took my kids, there's a show that is their favorite show, it's called Wildcrats. And they did a live action show in Austin. And so I called my manager and was like, hey, is there any chance we can like get backstage to meet the Wildcrats? And it was the best day of Tom and Shep's life. Martin and Chris Pratt came out and they were like, like kids, like true joy in their face. I looked at Jen and I was like, our sons just peaked. They're 2 and 4. It's all downhill from here. And we met the Pratt brothers and they were amazing, incredible and kind and genuine. Yeah, that was a good night for the little Panel Vega boys.
Thank you very much.
Hi.
Hello, I'm Shrey, and me and my family are just a big fan of you guys. And my question is, since 11 years of Supernatural, what is your most memorable moment in Supernatural?
Yeah, what was your most memorable moment in the last 11 years of your life? She's like, you made it 11.
She's like, oh, right now.
We've had some pretty big moments over the past 11 years. He and I have reflected on this many times. We've had, we've had major milestones. We've had major losses. We've had, triumphs and tribulations and everything in between. And it's hard to pick what moment really stands out the most. For me, it's not a moment. It's what 11 years has given us, and I know there's some sort of quote that You know, life is not defined by the things you have, but by the